It's 7 o'clock. We'll call this meeting of the Richland County Board for the month of June to order and ask the clerk to take the roll.
Carroll.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Schoonover.
Here.
Kramer.
Here.
McKee.
Here.
Engel.
Here.
Hendricks.
Here.
Manning.
Here.
Gill.
Here.
Glassburner. Woodhouse.
Here.
Turk.
Here.
Cosgrove. Frank.
Here.
Severson.
Present.
Williamson.
Here.
Cooley.
Here.
Fleming.
Here.
Brookins.
Here.
And McGuire.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Have a past and present this evening. We do.
I do not see one.
All right. I would ask that you stand and just join me in a moment of silent reflection here before we have this pledge of allegiance. Thank you. At this time, I'll ask the clerk to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. Are we in compliance with the open meetings law?
Yes, Mr. Chair, the meeting's been properly noticed.
Very good. We have before us a 24-point agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Motion by Kramer, second by McKee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have our agenda. We also have minutes from the May 20th County Board meeting in our packets. Are there any corrections, changes needed to the minutes as they've been presented? Hearing none, the chair declares those minutes to be approved as printed. Item 8 is public comment. Any members of the public that wish to comment tonight? Yes, please go ahead.
Anywhere in particular?
Anywhere you want to state is just fine. Just introduce yourself and
Molly Bond, Congressman Derek Van Orden's office, as I've been here a few times now. Just want to give a brief update on the congressional and budget office I've been working on. Last week, he voted to pass H.R. 4 that codifies the recensions to eliminate $9.4 billion in unobligated wasteful federal funding. More details about that bill you can find on our website or online. The VA committee, his bill H.R. 15, the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act, passed the House. This bill established a permanent payment claims program for the VA Home Loan Program. He also earlier this year had 2 other VA bills pass the House. Recently, last week, he also introduced H.R. 3780 to honor U.S. service members and federal personnel who have defended the southern border under President Trump by creating and issuing a border operations service member. So very busy on the VA committee as well as the other committee assignments. Lastly, Congressman Van Orden did vote to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill. It would prevent a 25% tax hike on Wisconsinites and eliminate more than $1.5 trillion in waste, fraud, and abuse. Some highlights is for our dairy farmers in our district, it increased dairy tier 1 cap, as well as invest in agriculture research. It also prevents the death tax on farmers, family-owned farms. It quadruples the maximum employer provided healthcare credit and tax on tips and overtime, and cut taxes on seniors as well. There's a lot to that bill. I would encourage you, if you guys are not signed up for our email newsletter update, to sign up for that. When that bill passed, we sent out a long form email that went into multiple sections of that, which was about 4 pages if you printed it off. So please subscribe to our newsletter so you can get more information and details on those big bills. And you can also follow us on social media. That's also a good way to keep updated from our office. But if any of you guys have specific questions, comments, or opinions you want to share with Derek, please just reach out to me directly. If you don't have my information, I know the administrator as well as the chairman has my contact information. And then lastly, I always like to remind people we're a constituent service first office. So if anyone, any of your constituents are having a problem with the federal agency, passport, Social Security, Medicare, VA benefits, reach out to our office as we might be able to assist. So thank you, Chairman.
thank you. Thank you. Any other members of the public that wish to comment for tonight's meeting, either here or online? Hearing none, we will continue to item number 9, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions.
We have 3 appointments tonight. We have actually 4 appointments, 3 to the Nutrition Advisory Council. They would be Monica Deaver, Kevin Nolan, and David Rasmussen. And to appoint Ann Cox to the ADRC Aging Advisory Committee.
Okay, for the recommendations, do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. McKee to approve the appointments, second by Mr. Cooey. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Those appointments, thank you. Item 10, ordinance to rezone a list of parcels there.
Okay, this will be ordinance number 25-9, amendment number 620 to the Richland County Code of Ordinance, chapters 119, with the parcels, the 4 parcels that are listed there on the top of the ordinance. The following described 49.7 acres in lots 1 and 2 in a certified survey map from town of Henrietta are hereby rezoned from ag forestry and residential to ag residential district. This ordinance shall be effective upon passage and publication. It is being offered to you by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on June 2nd of 2025.
Very good. I have a motion on this. Motion by Mr. McKee, second by Mr. Manning. And discussion. Kathy, go ahead.
The landowner is going to be splitting the property, like parts going to their son, parts they're gonna keep. There's houses on both, and so they did the certified survey to create 2 lots out of the 4 parcels. And, so they're.
Anybody have questions on this? Not all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Moving on to item number 11, an ordinance for rezoning a different parcel there.
All right, this will be ordinance number 25-10, amendment number 621 to Richland County Code of Ordinance, chapter 119, relating to the parcel listed on the ordinance. The following described 7.99 acre parcel in the town of Henrietta is hereby rezoned from ag forestry to the residential district. Again, effective upon passage and publication, and once again offered by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on June 2nd of 2025.
Looking for a motion on this ordinance. Motion by Mr. Gill, second by Mr. Cooey. And discussion for this one.
The landowner is keeping the buildings and some acreage around it, which is the 7.9 acres. And so then she's selling the rest off to somebody else. So the parcel she's keeping is gonna be less than the 35 acres.
Questions? As all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That ordinance is adopted. Item number 12, ordinance to rezone this parcel.
Ordinance number 25-11, amendment number 622 to chapter 119 of the Richland County zoning ordinances. The following described 10.2 acre parcel in the town of Forest is rezoned from ag forestry to residential district, again, effective upon passage and publication, offered to you by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on June 2nd of 2025.
All right, you heard the ordinance. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Cooey, second by Supervisor Fleming. And discussion.
This is a remnant parcel and they're coming in to do, getting a land use permit, so we're having them rezone it to the correct zoning district, so.
Okay, well, those clean up zonings.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Anybody have questions on this? Those in favor of the ordinance, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That ordinance is adopted. And item number 13, an ordinance to rezone yet another parcel.
Ordinance number 25-12, amendment number 623 to Richland County Code of Ordinances, chapter 119. The following described 13.943 acre parcel in the town of Eagle is hereby rezoned from ag forestry and residential to the ag residential districts. You have the legal description before you. Again, effective upon passage and publication. It is being offered once again by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on June 2nd of 2025.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Manning, second by Supervisor Hendricks. And discussions.
This is a family-owned parcel, and they're splitting it to keep the house and some acres on one is one, and then the person who's buying it is going to be building a house on the other person. And it doesn't need the ag forestry.
Any questions for this one? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That ordinance is adopted. Do we have any petitions for zoning amendments received since the last county board session?
Yes, we'll have 5 coming up at our next meeting.
For those to natural resources. And any rezoning petitions recommended for denial by the Natural Resources Standing Committee?
No,
Very good, thank you. That brings us to item 16, reports, and our county administrator up.
So the first thing I wanted to share with everyone is that earlier this month, I shared with Executive and Finance my goals for 2025. So if you take a look in the Executive and Finance packet, you'll be able to see the list of goals that I have planned out for between now and the end of the year. And then my plan is to work with department heads, board, to set up goals for 2026 and late 2025. We've been having some hiccups with the Tyler system. So that is the system that we are working on for payroll or accounting software. Everybody's getting paid through the Tyler system, but we are having some challenges with things behind the scenes. So we had a meeting with them last week, really laid out what our concerns are, and our hope is that things will start to improve. But it hasn't been super smooth, but it's not been the worst thing. So we knew this was going to happen. We signed up to get a new system. Guidance has been provided to the department heads on the capital improvements plan process. All of their requests were due to us yesterday, and we are going to start working on getting them all together and then bringing the proposal to the committee or to executive and finance and then to full county board coming up. We're also working on providing 2026 budget guidance to department heads, and the guidance will be provided to the department heads the week of July 1st. Ongoing maintenance on the wage scale is in process. All of the positions that are being reviewed this year have been turned in to DDA, and the goal is to have them returned to us by July 1st so that we have all that information for budget planning for next year. I have been working on changes to the handbook. My goal is to bring the changes to the board in sections and hope that that process is more manageable. So we have 3 that we're in the process of working on that we will take next month, and each month the goal is to bring different sections there with the goal of by the end of the year having the handbook updated. Venture will be here on July 1st to start the facility assessments on Pine Valley, Simons, and the ambulance building. And then I do have the MIS survey at your spot. If you guys could fill that out and return that to me before the end of the day, that would be much appreciated. And I think everybody's already turned theirs.
Questions for the administrator? Keep on rolling here. Item 17, a resolution accepting and approving use of a public comment form.
Resolution number 25-46. Now therefore be it resolved that the Richland County Board of Supervisors accepts and approves the use of the public comment form. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. This is being offered to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on June 10th, 2025.
Right. For a motion on this motion by Mr. Manning, second by Mr. Cooey. And discussion.
So this is a
No, go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
This is a form that we have put together and was approved by Executive and Finance, really just to provide some guidance and direction to the public when they are at meetings and to help them kind of organize their thoughts and help us with keeping things organized when they come to meetings and provide public comment.
I mean, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
that there is unless is listed on there twice in the top paragraph there. So we have a typo. Supervisor phoned me, let me know earlier, so we'll fix that. But as Administrator Clement said, this is just meant to streamline our operations with public comment, give us a way to handle that in an organized approach if we come to a time where we have a large amount of public comment. So really just to streamline a process, make a process and have a form. So this way we all handle that consistently across every committee, meeting, board meeting, or what have you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
how soon do, like, if somebody wants to make a public comment, how soon before that actual meeting do they have to have this trivia?
we discussed some of that and really it's just before the meeting starts. There's not a 20, some places that use this kind of forum. First off, some places mandate it. This isn't mandated. This is made. Correct. It would help us out a lot. Hopefully it helps folks organize their thoughts too. I like the fact that it has our county board rules cited in there as public comments so people understand it clearly. But it's not required. Nobody has to use it to be able to make public comment. But as they said, in instances where we anticipate we'll have multiple folks who want to talk to us, this could really help organize it.
You know, I agree with that. I think it would help. I have a question on number 2. It's not always easy for people, especially these times, to get everything they want covered in 3 minutes. But I think that's a good piece where it should stay. People get anxious, they get nervous, they get upset. We have a rising elderly population that has some cognitive issues. So I'm wondering whether or not we just should add 3 minutes. It may speak twice during the meeting, but non-consecutive.
No, that would involve changing our board rules because this is just quoting the board rules. So that would be an amendment to the rules, not necessarily a change on the form. We have had instances in the past where folks are dealing with nerves and yeah, it's kind of intimidating to come into the board and face everybody and the camera and the microphones and all that. We do try to extend grace in times like that. We've had people that have gone 3 minutes and 10 seconds, 3 minutes and 15.
These days, you can't tell on some cognitive issues though.
I know.
So out of respect for people, why couldn't we change that?
Well, if you would like to pursue changing our board rules, that'd be something we'd have to put on our agenda and act on, so.
I would just get a sense of the group, and see whether that would make sense.
Well, it's not really an agenda item right now, so it wouldn't be appropriate for discussion in this meeting. But as I said, we get to future agenda items, certainly bring it up as a topic. We can add it to the agenda and then we can have proper discussion about it, okay? Sure. Mr. Frank.
So I appreciate your comments on that, I guess, and I had thought about that, and my thought is I think 3 minutes is very reasonable. If someone feels and they've written up something or put something together they feel is more than 3 minutes, they're free to bring someone else to extend that conversation and give them 3 minutes. So I guess if it's something that's important that they want to express, maybe it takes 2 people to do it. Maybe it takes a group of people to organize to get 3 minute blocks through a process. And I think that makes it reasonable.
Or council, yes.
Mr. Chair, there's also no explicit prohibition on granting your time to another party. That is in some bylaws and rules. So if I only felt I needed to speak for 30 seconds, I could pass 2 minutes and 30 to another party.
However, that's not always understood by the common population.
Mhm.
So
True.
that's why I'm suggesting changing. Those are nuances to meetings that some people just don't get.
Mr. Gill.
Yes, number 3 says all comments must be germane to an item on the meeting agenda. Is that for any comments typically, or are we holding people up to account for looking at our agenda and commenting?
That's a rule we've been fairly lenient with in the past. We have had folks bring things to us that aren't necessarily, something the board will be considering later. The intent of it is to avoid, a storm of stuff that aren't part of what the board's going to be doing that night. And there are other forums for people to get us information, and we certainly could add items to an agenda and make a discussion about something at a future date too.
But if we're gonna have a rule like that, then our report from Derek Van Ort's office
That would be an
not
example, yes.
Appropriate.
Right, that's what I wanted.
Is that what we want to do?
Yeah, that's something we should think about then. Mr. McGuire?
Yeah, I've sat on school boards. School boards are adamant about subject matter has to be on the agenda. Okay, and they have to also sign in before they're allowed to speak. So I think we should have, put it on the agenda and discuss this.
We can have an agenda item for our next meeting to talk about some tweaks to our board rules related to public comment. And if we change it, we'll republish our form. Other questions or comments? All right, we have the form before us and the resolution that goes with it. So all in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Good, the resolution is adopted. See, the administrator took note for future agenda items, so We'll bring that other discussion onto our next agenda. All right, item 18, resolution approving an interdepartmental partnership of MIS and the Sheriff's Department, applying for and accepting a PSAP grant from the Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs for 2026.
This will be resolution number 25-47. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for MIS to apply for and accept a PSAP grant from the Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs to provide additional funding for the equipment upgrades and advanced training necessary for next generation 911 and G911 implementation. Being further resolved, that the grant would fund up to $750,000 and requires a minimum local match of 10%. Being further resolved that the resolution shall be effective upon its passage and publication. This is being offered to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on June 10th of 2025. It also did go through Public Safety Standing Committee as well on June 6th of 2025.
Good. You've heard the resolution. For a motion, motion by Mr. Cooey, second by Mr. McKee, and discussion. Mr. McGuire? Oh, we already had the second.
Already have one?
Yeah, yes. So we do have Chief Deputy Wallace online.
Does anybody have any questions about the grant? We've this grant the last couple of years. We've used this grant in the past to get a new 911 system, new EMD cards for taking emergency calls, and advanced training for our staff members.
Mr. Frank.
Thank you. So I do want to mention that the funding for this has not been set by the state. It comes out, it will come out with the state budget. So that grant process is going to be coming out shortly. The exact funding dollars aren't known yet. We're anticipating it'll be the same as last year's, but as we know, until everything is signed and done, that's where we are. But we do, the intent is to get this grant process forward. So when the grant application does come out, the department can just move and get it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, in the past, it's usually the deadline's in early August. So we just want to have the grant ready and get approval. So when it does come out, we can get this filed as soon as possible.
Yeah, that is correct. And that is one of the challenges with the budget. You don't know where that number is. And yet we want to get the grant process rolling by August. So that's why diligence here is very helpful.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Resolution is adopted. Item 19, a resolution approving an interdepartmental partnership of MIS Land Information and the Sheriff's Department, applying for and accepting an NG 911 GIS grant from the Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs for 2026.
Okay, this will be resolution number 25-48. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for MIS to apply for and accept an NG 911 GIS grant from the Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs to provide additional funding for the equipment upgrades and advanced training necessary for next generation 911 and G911 implementation. Be it further resolved that the grant would fund up to the maximum allowable reward and requires a minimum local match of 10%. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective upon its passage and publication. Again, offered to you by the Executive Finance Standing Committee on June 10th of 2025. Also went through Public Safety Standing Committee on June 6th of 2025.
Motion by Mr. Manning, second by Mr. Severson. Any discussion on this?
I'll just share, this is the same pot of money. This is the same project. It's just the GIS side of it for 911. You have the equipment side, and this is the GIS side to make everything work. Two separate sides.
Anyone with questions? Not all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That resolution is adopted. Item 20 on our agenda, a resolution approving a countywide vehicle use policy.
So this is resolution number 25-50. Now therefore be it resolved that the Richland County Board of Supervisors approves a countywide vehicle use policy. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. This is being offered to you by the Public Works Standing Committee that actually just met at 6 p.m. before this meeting, which is why you do not have the notation on that resolution.
For the resolution, looking for a motion. Motion by Severson, second by Cooey. And discussion.
So this is a policy that was requested by the Public Works Committee. I met and worked with Josh Elder and Attorney Wendell to draft this policy. This will cover all departments besides the Sheriff's Department that have vehicles. The Sheriff's Department does have their own policy in place, and this has been approved by Public Works and Executive.
We have questions on this. Hearing no questions. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Unopposed.
Hi, sorry. I had a question on that before I went to vote.
Oh, well. We mowed it. Bob.
I know you do. That's fine.
You can certainly follow up with your.
I will follow.
Thank you.
It's what we discussed.
Okay. That brings us to item number 21, resolution approving or accepting a bid to replace a boiler in the courthouse.
This will be resolution number 25-49. Therefore, be it resolved that the Richland County Board of Supervisors accepts the bid received from, you'll see X's in there because again, the committee just met before this meeting. So the bid that was approved was the bid from Precision for in the amount of $97,171. $97,171 for the repair of the boiler at the courthouse. Be it further resolved that the funds to purchase the boiler will come from Fund 75 and 92 if needed. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. Again, offered to you, as I said, by the Public Works Standing Committee that met at 6 p.m. before this meeting.
That's the resolution before us. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Gill, second by Supervisor Kramer. We're lucky the boiler failed in spring and not fall, right? Josh, go ahead.
Two boilers.
Two boilers.
I think we should put boiler
Okay.
instead of a boiler.
Clarification, we're talking multiple here, not just one.
Also not repair, replace.
Replacing, not repairing, okay? So clarifying what's going on, we are replacing two boilers.
From Precision, right?
Both come, the bid is for both from Precision, okay.
At what cost?
$97,171.
Mr. Gill,
Are these like high efficiency boilers or? It'd be
They're an 88% efficient.
What did we use?
Cast iron boilers.
What was our?
Same thing as they're the exact same.
Oh,
brand,
yes.
Same brand, but just newer models.
Okay, great.
other questions? There are no other questions. Oh, go ahead, Mr. McGuire.
Do we have any other boilers that are in need of replacement? Is anywhere within the county that you're looking at? That's,
How many you need?
The camp, which building?
I mean, other than just this building here.
Nothing identified as immediate replacement. We're only focusing on the courthouse boilers at this time.
Okay.
Other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Item 22, correspondence. Correspondence to report. Item 23, future agenda items. We have noted the discussion about our county board rules related to public comment. Are there other items for future agendas? Mr. Cooey.
Do we need to change so that any other government can come in and speak to see on the agenda? Let me just put it on the agenda.
Update from.
You know what
someone's
I mean,
office or
update
something
from-
like that. That's certainly a
Just
strategy.
leave it there so that there is big concern about that.
Something we should look at, for sure. Supervisor Glassbrenner.
On that form, though, it doesn't actually say that, oh, never mind.
Okay.
You're gone, Mark, you were right. I can read.
Any other future agenda items? If there are none, then motion by Supervisor Hendricks to adjourn. Beat you, Gary. Second by Supervisor Fleming. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Wow.